How did Japan and South Korea, two nations devastated by war, become the economic giants we know today? The secret isn't just hard work. It's hidden in the powerful family-controlled empires that built modern Asia. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Zaibatsu, Keiretsu, and Chaebol, the architects of economic miracles. We'll explore how Japan's industrial titans were dismantled and reborn, and how South Korea created its own version from scratch. These are two very different stories, but they share one incredible ambition: total industrial dominance. Ready? Let's get started. Our story kicks off in Japan, way back in 1868 during the Meiji Restoration. The government was desperate to catch up with the West, so they did something radical. They sold off huge state-owned industries like mines and shipyards for pennies on the dollar to a select group of wealthy families and former samurai. From this, the Zaibatsu, or financial cliques, were born. Think of a Zaibatsu as a pyramid. At the very top, you had a single family controlling everything through a holding company. Underneath, they owned a sprawling network of businesses in every key sector: banking, mining, shipping, and heavy industry. The crucial part, they owned their own banks. This meant they could fund their own expansion without asking anyone for permission. They were financially self-sufficient empires. By the early 20th century, just four of them, Mitsubishi, and Yasuda, practically ran the entire Japanese economy. But this incredible power had a very dark side. When World War II broke out, the Zaibatsu became the engine of Japan's war machine. Their factories churned out Zero fighters, warships, and weapons. To meet the insane production demands, they relied on forced labor, exploiting millions from China, Korea, and even Allied prisoners of war. Their pursuit of profit and power was directly tied to the aggression and tragedy of the war. After Japan's surrender in 1945, the victorious Allied forces, led by the American General MacArthur, took charge. They saw the Zaibatsu as the root cause of Japanese militarism and ordered their complete dissolution. The founding families were stripped of their control. The holding companies were outlawed, and the great industrial empires were broken apart. It looked like the end of an era. But then, the world changed. By 1947, the Cold War was heating up. The United States suddenly realized it needed a strong, industrialized Japan as a bulwark against the spread of communism in Asia. This led to a complete policy reversal, something historians call the reverse course. The breakup of the Zaibatsu was abruptly halted. Many of the old business leaders were quietly brought back, and the companies were allowed to regroup. The Zaibatsu didn't truly die. They just evolved into something new. From the ashes of the old Zaibatsu, the Keiretsu emerged. The word means something like headless system, which is a perfect description. Unlike the family-dominated Zaibatsu, the Keiretsu are networks of independent companies bound together by a clever financial arrangement called cross-shareholding. Basically, all the member companies own small chunks of each other's stock. This creates a stable, friendly ecosystem, making them nearly immune to hostile takeovers from outsiders. There are two main types of Keiretsu. First, you have the horizontal Keiretsu. Imagine a big circle of companies from different industries like electronics, cars, and chemicals, all centered around a powerful main bank that provides financing. The Mitsubishi Group is a classic example. Then, you have the vertical Keiretsu. This is more like a pyramid, with a massive manufacturer like Toyota at the top, and a whole chain of suppliers and subcontractors underneath, all working together in perfect sync to build one final product. This model is what made Japan's manufacturing so incredibly efficient. Now, let's shift our focus to South Korea. In the 1960s, the country was one of the poorest in the world. Still reeling from the devastating Korean War, President Park Chung-hee, a former general, decided that the only way forward was through rapid state-led industrialization. His government handpicked promising entrepreneurs and their companies and said, "You are going to build our new economy." This was the birth of the Chaebol, or wealth clique. The deal was simple. The government gave these chosen companies almost unlimited support-ship loans, protection from foreign competition, and guarantees on their massive debts. In return, the Chaebol had to meet aggressive export targets set by the government. It was a powerful handshake between the state and private business. Structurally, the Chaebol looked a lot like the old Japanese Zaibatsu. They were dynastic, with control passed down from father to son, and they expanded into every industry imaginable. But there was one critical difference that changes everything. Unlike the Zaibatsu, Korean Chaebol were legally forbidden from owning their own banks. All their funding came from state-controlled financial institutions. This gave the government immense power. If a Chaebol wasn't performing, the government could simply turn off the credit tap. This leverage allowed the state to direct the entire course of the nation's economy, pushing companies like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG to become the global giants they are today, making everything from supertankers to semiconductors. They became too big to fail. This model of debt-fueled expansion worked wonders for decades, but it had a ticking time bomb at its core. In 1997, the Asian financial crisis hit South Korea like a tidal wave. Companies that had borrowed billions to expand suddenly found themselves unable to pay their debts. The entire system teetered on the brink of collapse. One of the biggest, Chaebol Daewoo, went bankrupt in one of the largest corporate failures in history. To get a bailout from the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, Korea was forced to make painful reforms. The surviving Chaebol had to change their ways. They were forced to sell off non-essential businesses, slash their massive debts, improve transparency, and focus on their core strengths. While the top Chaebol still generate a huge portion of South Korea's GDP today, they now face new pressures, including public calls for reform, intense global competition, and tricky questions about who will take over when the founding family's current generation steps down. So, let's wrap this up. What have we learned? The Japanese Zaibatsu and Korean Chaebol were both family-ruled empires, but the modern Japanese Keiretsu are managed by professionals, not families. For financing, the Japanese groups were self-sufficient with their own banks, while the Korean Chaebol were totally dependent on government credit. This gave the Japanese government a role as a partner, while the Korean government acted as a top-down commander. Both of these models show us that in East Asia, the line between business and politics is often blurry. They were born from a powerful national drive to survive, modernize, and compete on the world stage. It's a fascinating tale of strategy, power, and ambition. What do you think? Which model, the networked Keiretsu or the family-led Chaebolese, better suited for today's global economy? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. See you next time.